Well, the plan by Secondus to overturn his suspension as a member and national chairman of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) has failed after a Court of Appeal sitting in Port Harcourt dismissed his application on Tuesday. A Rivers State High Court had last month affirmed the suspension of Secondus from the party at his ward in Ikuru Town in Andoni Local Government Area of the state. Well, Secondus had been banking on Article 59 subsection 3, which states that only the National Executive Committee can suspend a member of the NEC or other top officers of the party holding positions in government like the president or the vice president. Now, the appeal court also fixed Thursday, the 28th of October, to rule on another motion brought by Secondus against the PDP, asking the court to suspend the October 30th and 31st National Convention of the party and allow him the right to preside over the convention.
What transpired in court today was that we have an application on behalf of the Prince Uche Secondus to restrain the holding of the National Convention, which is scheduled for 30th and 31st. And so many people came to say they want to join, which caused some delay. And the court felt that it was necessary to hear everyone concerned. So the court has given them opportunity to come and say whatever they want to say. And the matter is adjourned to Thursday. So the court said it will decide whether the convention should go on or not on Thursday.
And the fact that a counter affidavit was served on me yesterday, which I need to respond to, that has been adjourned to 12 o'clock on Thursday, the 28th day of October, 2021, for argument. The next one is an appeal in 300 against an interim order made by the High Court on 23rd of August, 2021. The court has agreed with us that that appeal is academic. It has therefore been struck out. In appeal number 340 by PDP against my clients and Uche Secondus, PDP's new counsel, upon going through the processes in the appeal, did not see any need for PDP to appeal against the judgment, which is a confirmation of steps taken by officers of PDP. Therefore, Learned Senior Counsel today applied to withdraw that appeal pursuant to the provisions of Order 11 Rule 5 of the Rules of the Court of Appeal. That appeal has been dismissed. We now have pending appeal number 339 and 341. 339 will be had, the motion in 339 will be had on Thursday.
All right, to discuss these issues within the People's Democratic Party, we have joining us a former spokesperson of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, Umar Sani. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight.
Yeah.
It looks like this whole drama between the chairman of the PDP and the party itself, the PDP, raises questions of legitimacy on the side of Secondus. Yeah. He has gone to, different courts, the High Court, the Appeal Court. Most likely he may go to the Supreme Court. But the question of legitimacy, when a preponderance of the party members say, we don't want you to continue as chairman for, different reasons, does it not behove on him to just, step down and still show that he's a party man?
Let me correct some of the insinuations made by the other lawyer in the case. Number one, there was nothing that was struck out by the appeal court. The deliberations at the appeal court today was about service. Most people who wanted to join were insisting that they were not served. And so they needed to be served so that the matters would be discussed. So there was no argument, there was nothing. So I don't know how the appeal court could have arrived at any decision like that. If there was, the appeal court would have issued a statement saying this is what they have done. There was nothing like that. So secondly, secondly, let me correct the impression. Secondus was not removed legitimately and in line with the party's constitution. Now, the courts have no business in party affairs except if the constitution of the party is infringed upon. And in this respect, section 57, subsection 1 to 5 has been infringed upon because that what executives have no right to suspend Secondus. Local government executive have no right to ratify the suspension. So only the National National Executive Committee of the party has the right to do that.
And the convention?
Yes. No, not National Executive Committee. Then it will be ratified at the convention.
At the convention, yes.
Yeah, but there was nothing like that. So why would a court that has not even examined that will now say that it is academic? That is merely the wishful thinking of the barrister in question. That nothing was talked out. We have it in authority of our lawyers.
All right, Umar, are you then saying that this judgment by the Court of Appeal in Port Harcourt, are you saying that Secondus will still go further, or his case has come to an end?
Well, the matter has not been determined yet.
I thought the court dismissed that appeal.
That is why I'm telling you that there was no any dismissal of any appeal by the court.
So how did that information come about?
Well, you can see their lawyer that was making that statement. Our lawyer didn't say that. Our lawyer that spoke actually said people were complained that they were not served, and then they were served, and they were given 24 hours to respond to the service.
So are you saying the case hasn't been argued?
It has not been argued. So our lawyer clearly said that the matter is deemed for argument, you know, on Thursday. So I don't know how where they got the information that anything was struck out. Nothing was struck out.
Where does that leave Uche Secondus now if he cannot, I mean, if the party insists, of course, the convention holds this weekend. That's what they're saying. That's what the party is saying.
Well, the party...
Secondus is insisting that his tenure does not end until December. Is there a political way out of this seeming impasse without the court necessarily having to settle it? Because there are implications for the party down the line, are there not?
Now, if there was any political headway, it would have been done long ago, because the David Mark Committee now approached both sides, both warring factions, and then said, okay, now can you people remove all this court process so that we can discuss this and find a way out? Secondus first did not approach the court to seek anything from the party. He was taken to court. And
by PDP?
By the PDP in River State. So he had a duty to defend himself. By when somebody takes you to court, you must go and defend yourself, and that is what Secondus is trying to do, to defend himself. And now, as a law-abiding person, he could have issued a statement and say that he will discountenance the decision of the court in Port Harcourt and continue as the national champion because he had the mandate of the party to serve for 4 years. But no, he upheld the decision and decided to step aside to allow the court processes to determine the whole case. Now, the court processes have now reached an appeal. Now, the other side is saying that no matter what happens, they are not going to, they must continue. Does that mean that there is no respect for rule of law?
All right, Umar, let me ask you this. Would you then say that the motion before the court for the 28th of October, I think 28 is 2 days from today or so?
Yes.
28th of October, to stop the convention, with what is playing out, does it look like is a wasted exercise, or do you think that Secondus still has a chance?
It is the motion before the court is not actually to stop the convention.
Okay.
Yeah, the motion before the court are three or fourfold.
Okay.
One, to declare that Secondus is the national chairman of the party, and to reinstate him back to his position as the national chairman of the party. Two, that anything that was done when he was under this suspension should be set aside.
Null and void.
Null and void. So that he will now start afresh. So he didn't say that there should be no go. Anything that was done in his absence should be set aside. And then he is praying also that the court should also grant him leave to continue to exercise the functions of his office.
Now, if in the event that the court actually grants him all of these prayers, what then for the PDP and for Secondus? There is a group within the PDP that's saying, if we, go to the convention, get new executives, they will not be sworn in. They will not take over until December. Is that not a win-win for all sides, including Secondus himself, who insists that his tenure does not lapse until December?
You see, the decision was a hush-hush decision. It is a decision that was not taken by the National Executive Committee. Only the National Executive Committee can suspend Secondus. But now, to circumvent that, somebody went to court and said Secondus should be suspended. Now, coming back, he has a tenure, and his tenure expires on the 10th of December. Now, you can't elect executives and say they should wait until the 10th of December before they can be sworn in. The natural thing within our party is that any person who is elected is sworn in immediately.
Well, their argument is that you can have a chairman-elect the way you have a president-elect.
Yeah, well, it has never happened in our party. Even if it is going to happen this time around, what is the purpose? Why is it that only Secondus was removed out of the way? Why is it that other members of the National Working Committee have not been removed? What is the purpose? What is the essence? Why will he be removed?
Is that not to say they want Secondus out by all means possible?
If they want Secondus out, did they follow the due process? Was there any due process followed? Was the party actually, was the machinery of the party, the provisions of the party followed to the letter before he was removed? No, it is because somebody somewhere believes that he's blocking his chances.
That's what I'm trying to ask you now. Just raise that issue. So, do you think that there are forces that are fighting Secondus? Are you willing to name those forces? That's one. But two, what is happening to PDP at this moment? Don't you think it's working against your party? You have contention with APC. Don't you think it's working against your party? Can't you people get together, maybe a dialogue, and settle this out of court?
Well,
those two questions.
Like I said earlier on, first, there are forces, definitely, within our party that are determined to ensure that Secondus is out. However, there are also forces within the party that are determined that he should continue. Because in politics, it is about interest. So those people who believe that they will be skimmed out if Secondus is out, want him to continue. And those people who believe that Secondus is blocking their way, want him out. So either way, it's a win-win for both sides. Now, the issue is, will the court, because the time for political solution is over. It is now the responsibility of the courts to determine. Now, will the court determine in that way or otherwise? That is the question. Then, back to your second question.
Yeah, about the dialogue, about not shooting yourself in the leg and giving your enemy a heads up.
Yes, the PDP has a way of, the internal settlement mechanism. Once this matter is over, and then you will see that quickly every wounds will heal, and then
but it seems
more harm would have been done before the matter is over.
The good thing is that the PDP has just started its own now, so it has a sufficient time to heal. Now the APC will also start their own.
Who told you? Talk for PDP, don't talk for APC.
I'm talking.
You're not APC.
I'm talking for APC because what we see is what we talk about now. If in Nigeria there are conventions and you have about 40-something or 60-something chairmen, everybody professing, that is one sure bet that something is wrong within the party.
Is Secondus struggling for his political survival? Is that what's at the bottom of this? Or is it 2023? Because those who are saying Secondus cannot be there as a as a southern chairman if we want a northern presidential candidate to emerge, or vice versa.
That is the question, the issue. Now, the North truly, is not comfortable with a northern chairman because they know that the arguments will come much later. That since the North has a chairman, then the South must have a presidential candidate. And most of the Northerners within the party want to contest. That was why Atiku went to the neck during that time to insist that I'm going to contest whoever is the chairman. And so the thing should be left open. Well, for the time being, it has been left open. But when the time comes and the season for the argument, then the arguments will now, shape the discourse.
All right, Umar Sani, it's been an interesting discussion. I must tell you. The spokesperson of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, former spokesman, by the way, Umar Sani. Thank you so much for being on the
Thank you.
All right.